episode of Hondo's Blockbuster. As you can see, I am not alone on this episode. I am joined by a crew here as we are going to kick off the first ever Hondo's movie draft, which we'll explain the rules here. But before I do that, wanted to introduce the first crew for the first draft. You guys can introduce yourself if you want. You want me to run down the names? I can do either one. Up to you guys. If you guys want your initial moment to shine. Some people might recognize two people from the State Tranquilo universe. One guy is new, but I'll let you guys give a little intro. Go for it.
You guys go ahead. You guys,
Campbell.
You guys go. AJ, you're gonna make me laugh.
I'll go first. I'll break the
are
ice.
looking like that, dude, you're gonna make me laugh. Please stop doing that. I was biting my fucking tongue the entire time.
I'll introduce myself. First. Well, I'm not really introducing myself. I'm joining Hondo on camera for the first time. Hondo's Blockbuster. It's the Pooch. Usually behind the scenes on camera today to give a little bit of my movie insight for this draft. And yeah, I'm a pretty recurring character, but excited to be on for the first time here on Hondo's Blockbuster.
Pooch.
I guess I'll go next in order of seniority
Yeah.
since I've been on the State Tranquilo network before. I'm Nick Campbell, avid movie fan, avid sports fan, 8-0 in the Ryder Cup picks. You know, at least to get some street cred.
The Bow.
And I'm
making his debut.
I'm AJ Hassoun. This is my inaugural showing on the Hondo network. Here to lend some of my movie cred.
All right, I love it. All right, so kicking off what we're doing today, again, like I mentioned, movie draft, and today's episode is going to be movie franchises. So the best franchises, favorite franchises, and we're going based on 5 categories. You have to draft an action franchise, superhero franchise, fantasy or adventure, sci-fi, and then a miscellaneous. Any wild card you want to pick, from any other category you want, you can fill out your team there. So we're gonna decide the draft order now, and then it's gonna go snake draft. Once a franchise has been taken, you cannot take that franchise again. And then 2, the order of where you have to take a movie franchise does not matter. If you've got the first pick, you can decide what franchise you want to go with. You just have to fill out one of the 5 categories. All right, so your first pick doesn't need to be action, for example. It can be any of the 5. You just can't go back to action. All right, everyone good?
Got it.
Let's roll.
You're gonna be keeping a tally. You're gonna have a score like a live tally
I got a little
live
thing.
notes there to
Okay.
make sure everyone's accountable. Everyone's being held accountable.
I got you. Well,
I hope I lead off.
with the
Oh, I
wheel.
love it.
The way that we're doing this, the first person picked here is the 4th pick. All right, the last person standing is the first pick. All right, you guys ready? Let's
A little bit of
freaking
shenanigans, but I'll accept.
All right, with the 4th pick,
Pooch.
Pooch. All right, Pooch is gonna get the wraparound after one.
It. We're doing a snake draft, right? We're doing a snake draft.
Yeah,
It
snake
goes from
draft.
4,
snake
then 4 back to 1. All right, perfect. I'll take it.
All right, let's see who's going in at 3. And it's looking like me. All right, Hondo. We're going to spot. I love it. I love that spot. That's kind of what I wanted. All right, AJ or Bo. Let's see who's going first. Let's see who's kicking off the first ever movie draft here.
Me, let's fucking roll.
New guy. Oh, pressure's on the new guy to kick us off. All right, AJ, you are going to have the first pick.
Is AJ gonna pick the 50 Shades of Grey franchise? That's the real question.
I was thinking about that, and it was
Great
going
movie franchise, but
pretty good. Better books though.
All right, AJ, lead us off. First movie franchise of the draft. Go for it.
I did a lot of due diligence here, so I'm ready to go. I'll build the suspense. I'll start off with category. Let's go with sci-fi. Sci-fi for the first category that's going to be taken. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to take a Hondo Blockbuster's favorite. You've already done 2 videos that are within this world. And I'm actually watching an incredible show from here. You know what it is. Star Wars.
Yep, that's a great 1-1.
I feel like I'm getting a pretty clear lead just with this pick. Does it need much explanation? Since the late 70s, been one of the most popular franchises of any genre. And we've had a couple down years with she who shall not be named, Kathleen Kennedy. But it looks like the times are on the up. The times are on the up. Andor's looking good, and excited for the future.
All right, Star Wars 1-1. All right, I love that pick. Bo, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to go with a little bit difficult of a category that gave me difficulty. I'm going to pick the miscellaneous category, and I'm going to pick the Oceans franchise. Now,
Wow.
I'll start off by saying the last one. It's tough scene. I personally enjoy it, and I like it because I like all the movies. I'm a big heist movie guy. That being said, the third one is pretty tough if you're a true fan. But the second isn't as good as the first, but the first one is one of the most timeless heist movies. It's such an easy watch. So many good actors, good dialogue, good a little cloak and dagger action, and you can't go wrong with the Oceans franchise.
I love it. Love it. Oceans franchise.
Cotton.
What?
I said,
What did this guy just say? This guy does not act in front of camera.
I said bold move.
It is bold move, but I love it. I love it. All right, I'm gonna kick it off. Action, my bread and butter, a franchise that is possibly ending next weekend, and I'm going with action. I am going with Mission Impossible. The Mission Impossible franchise. Tom Cruise, biggest movie star of our generation and pretty much of all time, to be honest with you. They continue to somehow one-up each other. The stunts keep going up. It's just an absolute blast. So
Let's be fair. The Mission Impossible franchise is amazing, including the last one was fantastic. But there are some misses in there. It's not a one for one. Every single movie is great. The first one is really good. The third one's awesome. The last one's awesome. And then there's some not hating, just trying to be objective.
no, listen. I will take the criticism, but I think there's only really one bad Mission Impossible movie. And I think
Going
it's
with
Mission.
Paul Patton.
All right, Mission Impossible. Ghost Protocol is great. Rogue Nation's great. Fallout. They're
Ghost
all good.
Protocol is terrible.
Which
It does
one?
have this. It does have quite possibly the sickest stunt.
Oh, dude,
Where he scales the building.
Yeah. Dude, Ghost Protocol. Listen, Ghost Protocol's not in my top tier of Mission Impossible. That movie's an absolute blast. Like, I will not take Ghost Protocol slander.
They're all a blast, to be fair.
In my opinion, the only one that's like every time, like if I'm rewatching it, that I probably will skip is Mission Impossible 2. I think the rest of them are incredible.
So tough. But look, I shouldn't be gassing you up on your pick because this is a competitive draft. But Mission Impossible does have the best looking guy in Hollywood that's under 5'8". So that counts for something.
That is true.
Listen, Tom Cruise is he's the father of cinema. He's saving the theaters brick by brick. All right.
Well,
Tom
he's the
Cruise,
Jesus Christ of cinema.
He is. He's the Jesus Christ of cinema. Tom Cruise. Jesus
All-round
Christ.
hub of cinema.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
All right. So I got Mission Impossible. Pooch, round us out the first round.
All right, so my first pick is going to be Sci-Fi to get it out of the way. I'm going to pick the Back to the Future franchise.
Ooh, Pooch, a classic here.
The Back to the Future franchise, timeless little sci-fi series. I think you can watch it in any era. You know, it obviously was one of the most popular franchises in the 80s, but I feel like it's pretty timeless. You can watch it today. You can watch it 10 years from now. It's still going to be a classic. And then for the Snake, on the way back, you're going to hate me for this, Dave. Give me the Christian Bale Batman trilogy.
Dude, damn it. I knew I should have gone Dark Knight franchise at 1-1.
I didn't realize when I picked first. I'm like, wait, I just wanted to get the worst category out of the way. I didn't realize it was the most important. Your best pick should go first.
I'm like, I'll be ignorant not to take that because it obviously has. I mean, the second Dark Knight, I think, is obviously one of the best superhero movies of all time. So I'm like,
superhero. It's one of the best movies of all time.
Exactly, one of the best movies. So it'd be ignorant for me not to take that trilogy.
Can I ask a question to the chat?
Yeah.
For the future listeners, and I know I'm gonna get smoked here because David and I have had this argument 1,000 times. But there's an argument. I'm not saying that it's 100% certain that Bane was a better villain than the Joker.
I'm gonna let them answer that question because I'll pitch in after.
In
But
what sense? In the way
Pooch,
he's
I'm curious of your thoughts on that.
like portrayed in like the live action, in terms
He's
of like any live action Joker compared to
No, it's just
right,
the
maybe
right,
movie.
like
right. Well, let's just say let's
Dark Knight
just use
Rises.
the Dark Knight Rises.
just the Dark Knight Rises.
I'm not saying the second one's a better movie, but Bane is ferocious in the third one. He is so scary. He breaks Batman's back. He punches a
Yeah,
hole through a column, which I didn't think was. It's obviously not possible, but makes you believe
I
it.
mean,
He
he
takes on
played
a
the
whole city and
Joker.
explodes a whole city.
Yeah, no,
From a
I mean
casualty
100%.
perspective, he causes the absolute most amount of damage.
I think
Now,
it's like the I think it's like the perspective of like I feel like Joker, like especially like in the comics and everything, like he just wants to have fun. Like he's like him
he's
toying with Batman.
chaos.
It's,
He
like,
doesn't
it's
care.
him
He's
having fun. Like he doesn't care what happens. He's there for chaos. Whereas Bane is like death and destruction. Like
correct.
Joker, like in his mind, this is all fun for him. This is all just part of like his big game of like just fucking with Batman the whole time and just pissing him off. And the way he says it, you can't kill me. Like how you be so bored without me. Like or like what would I do without you, Batman? Whereas Bane is like, I don't need you in the picture. Like I'm doing this whether or not you're here. So I guess it just depends. I mean, I do think Tom Hardy killed it with that Bane, like
That
his
voice. I
portrayal
remember
of it, the
hearing that.
voice,
Me and David
everything.
went to, and I think AJ went to the midnight premiere. We all went
Yeah,
to the midnight premiere, and we first heard it when he explodes the stadium. It's crazy. And honestly, in all three movies, what is super underrated is they're scored so well, and the
Oh,
sound is
yeah.
so good. It
100%.
builds so much suspense into the movie.
No, I
Hans
mean,
Zimmer says it to this day.
yeah,
It's the best
It was a
The
one.
Hans
number
Zimmer
one.
masterpiece.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
but
there's,
This
I
is
think Hans
A
Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer fan club right here.
I think Hans
100%.
Zimmer. I don't know how many movies like Hans Zimmer's been attached to that have just been like complete
Dude,
blockbusters. I mean,
he's been on so many.
that guy is like the score god. Like I think like any movie that Hans Zimmer is attached to is just gonna be.
I was gonna say we should put in the chat Hans Zimmer versus John Williams. Who's the better movie composer? That's a good one.
That's
That's a
that's a
great
good
one.
one because Williams has got a lot of classics, but with Zimmer, does a lot of the Nolan movies. So like his Interstellar score is incredible, the Inception one. But like John Williams has a lot of like the big ones, like the
He's
Spielberg.
got
He's really
Jurassic Park, Jaws,
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
and those are
I feel like
iconic.
Hans Zimmer's
Jaws
like the
is
only like,
probably the most iconic single
yeah,
scary
but like
thing coming.
yeah,
yeah.
but Hans Zimmer has like actual like concerts people can attend and you can actually just like listen to him like do these soundtracks live. Like there's people that go to like a Hans Zimmer concert. Well, I mean he's just insane. I think anything he does.
Fun fact: I saw a clip of this on Instagram of Hans Zimmer explaining, the iconic music in Interstellar. That is a song written to his son.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's why it's so powerful.
listen, boys. This is already a blast for me. The fact that I've been doing these early videos just by myself. The fact that we're diving into score during the movie franchise draft. This is the things that gets the juices
It's
flowing.
important, man. It's really important to like a
Oh
good
yeah,
movie with a good score. Like a good score can lift
You
up
can
like
only
a
get so far
movie.
unless you have a good score. The movie's never going to be tip top.
100%. All right, so I'm gonna go second round. Pooch, you absolutely. I was thinking of going Dark Knight trilogy at my
I'm
one.
surprised you didn't. Mission
I,
Impossible went up there for the
dude,
take.
literally, first off, like this is. I don't know if you can see it on.
It's the
It's
background.
literally
Like
my favorite movie
the
of all
fact that
time.
you left it in my grasp, especially since I have to wait, so many picks. I'm like, dude, I have to take it here.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. I honestly just thought I can get it in the second round. I really, honestly, dumb move by me. Now I regret it. But I will take then. I'm gonna dive right back into the superhero genre, where I'm gonna get a collection of 4 movies that for me, they're on the right side of myself. I'm going with the Avengers 4 movies, Avengers franchise. These are just the Avengers movies. Don't count. This is
Oh,
not.
I thought you were going to go a different subset
No, so like
Avengers movie.
Avengers, Age of
This is
Ultron,
just Avengers, Age of
Endgame,
Ultron,
Infinity War.
Infinity War,
Yeah,
and Endgame. So it's the 4th part of the Avengers, and if honestly, well, I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, but it could. fall
Don't,
into
I
that.
haven't seen it. Don't.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna go the Avengers. All right.
I knew it. I knew it. Wait, I have an order of business before Cambo goes. For the miscellaneous category, can it be a movie that's technically action, sci-fi, fantasy, or superhero, or does it
It's
have
be
a
anything.
wild card pick. It's essentially whatever you want it to be. It can fall. It can fall into either any of these categories, or it can be any other franchise you want. It can be comedy. It can be whatever you want.
Got it. Okay.
So I recognize that I made a huge mistake picking Oceans first. I want that to be on the record. I love the franchise,
Hey,
but I was
I like the
more so
boldness,
going
though.
with trying to change a category. I didn't really piece together that this is a draft, so that's probably should have been my fourth pick instead of my first pick, or my fifth pick instead of my first pick. But still a
I think
great
we're gonna have
franchise
to flip
nonetheless.
rounds,
I'm
honestly.
gonna pick off my true number one pick, near and dear to my heart, the Harry Potter franchise. I think
Yep.
when it comes down to it, it's got a little bit of everything. It's got fantasy, it's got romance, it's got drama, it's got action. It there, if you read the books, I was like an audiobook listener. I never really read all the books. Probably listened to the last four. They're fantastic, filled with. One of the things I also like about it is like most of those actors never really broke out anywhere else, so they're true to the franchise, and
Yep.
it was just such an awesome ride. And Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort, probably one of the more iconic villains. So good. The makeup in that movie is incredible. There's a lot of tough characters that you're super close to. Great franchise.
I'm with you there. I'm not gonna. I don't know if this other franchise will get picked. When it does, I'll touch on it. But for me, Harry Potter's is a 1-1 for fantasy adventure for me. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan as well, so I'm with you on that. It's good value second round.
Yes.
Saved it
That,
from the Oceans pick that no one's gonna pick.
I love that pick. I love that pick, but I think here at the second turn, where 2 goes to 3, is where the battle was won because I got 2 great picks here. I'm gonna go with, just for appearance's sake here, on fantasy, Lord of the Rings, inspired by the legendary J.R.R. Tolkien. You got Peter Jackson with a very faithful interpretation and representation of the books on film. Obviously, fan favorite. So you gotta love it. And then
Wait, AJ, before you go to your next one, that was the movie franchise that I didn't want to know because I figured it was going to come up soon. I I don't know if I'm in the minority. I'm assuming obviously it seems like
You're
Cambo's with me
probably
on
in the
this.
minority, but I'm also with you. I know exactly what you're gonna say.
I'm a Harry Potter over Middle Earth guy, just because and the Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the best trilogies of all time. Like I do love those movies, but like I'm not like I prefer the Wizarding World versus the Middle Earth world. So, I mean it's a great pick, but I'm just saying like that was the franchise that everyone usually has as their 1-1 in fantasy, and I'm actually with Bo. I'm a Harry Potter guy.
I completely agree. I think the escapism of Harry Potter it's so much more accessible, and it's just like a world that you want to be a part of. You wish that,
Right.
you know,
That's a good point. You don't want to be in Middle Earth
exactly.
fighting off orcs. And not to mention, I have one hot take. I love Lord of the Rings. It's not that rewatchable in my opinion. It's you watch it maybe once a year. You can't because it's just a long burn, right? But dude, Sam and Pippin might be the 2 most annoying characters in the world.
I love
The
that.
the
Yeah,
four the
and
four
why?
Hobbit angle just not my favorite. Everything else about the movie
I got
fantastic.
another question for the chat, which is, if and when you watch Lord of the Rings, do you go for the extended editions like our friend Portella, who will have nothing less, or do you go for the theatrical cuts? That's
I'm a theatrical cut guy.
Theatrical cut.
I'm an uncut. I rip the long versions. That's why I don't watch them as much because they're 4 hours.
And
Like
the
the
long
other.
versions explain a ton.
Yeah, they do.
They're
They're
super
awesome. But
insightful.
it's honestly it's crazy. It's like it's almost easier to watch 8 Harry Potter movies than it is to watch the 3 Lord of the Rings because it's almost the same runtime when you do
I agree.
the non theatrical version. So all right, AJ, kick off the
yeah.
third round.
I'll slide in quick here, but I'll give a little bit of context. My top 2 picks within superhero were Dark Knight and Avengers, so I figured I got to snatch something up while there's still some picks available, and I'm going here for the nostalgic pick, a pretty groundbreaking entry into the superhero world, and kind of took it to another level of seriousness. Morbius. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be picking
Crazy.
Sam Raimi's beautiful Spider-Man trilogy with
Wow.
Tobey
Good pick.
Maguire.
Good
All right, I
pick.
love it.
Yeah, I think we all grew up with Harry Osborn and Kirsten Dunst, and I'm naming characters and actors, but great series
I
and
have a take for the chat right now.
pretty strong three there. I think pretty
I
strong
have, I have,
three.
I have a take for the chat. Do you think that the rest of the iterations of Spider-Man would have been as strong if it wasn't for Tobey Maguire's first three? Or do you think that they needed Tobey Maguire to kind of build the foundation of what it meant to be Spider-Man?
I think that because all three of them are very different, but we don't get to the point that we are now in terms of all the superhero movies that we have if a movie like Spider-Man doesn't work, the original one, the original Raimi one. So I think it set more of a tone for superhero movies in general, but it also obviously it sets the tone for the rest of the Spider-Man. But they all had to play it so differently because like Andrew Garfield, as much as I love Andrew Garfield and I love his Spider-Man, he's like more of like a kind of like a skater kid, and then the Tom
Yeah,
Holland
but
one
that's
so much younger.
there are
Like he's a
three.
younger version of it. Like he's more comic book accurate in the sense of like he's actually like a kid as opposed to like. And I'm a Sam Raimi head. I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, but like those like Peter Parker's like 40 years old in high school. Like, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's not
It
against
was past his years.
Peter
He was a
Parker
little
has
older than
kids
his
in the
years.
Sam
So.
Raimi one. But honestly, I love all three of them for their own different. Like Spider-Man, the Tom Holland one makes you more less nostalgic to the comic, more child friendly, a little bit better action because of the advancing graphics, more merging of like the rest of the Marvel world into the storyline. The standalone Raimi franchise amazing, and then I personally think James Garfield. I mean, not James Garfield. Jesus Christ, Andrew Garfield
Garfield.
is awesome. He's really really good, and so is Emma Stone. But
Yeah,
those villains really, I didn't love the lizard, and I can't remember who's the second one.
Electro. The worst one.
Electro, which yikes, which he's actually very good. I thought in the reboot
Yeah.
when he's in the new Tom Holland one.
Not to
Yeah.
mention the actors in the Raimi trilogy are freaking out of control with
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe and then the guy that plays J. Jonah Jameson. I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
freaking
Well,
crazy.
William Dafoe is by
Home run
far the
captain.
best villain I honestly would say in almost any superhero movie
Well,
besides Thanos.
well, and besides the Joker, all right, come on.
Well, no,
But
that's a little bit different
it is. But
because
and
that's not so. I don't know. It's hard. There's obviously a difference between Spider-Man and the Dark Knight because one's with guns, driving, the traditional way to fight crime, and the other one's with superpowers. So I always
yeah.
kind of differentiate that.
Yeah, the awesome thing with Defoe too, like, cause like there's Defoe and then Doc Ock is also incredible in
Yeah,
Spider-Man
dog.
2.
I think they really did hit on the villains there. I think they
You
missed
did.
on the third one
The
with
third
like
one, they it
their
was
idea of Venom. Like I do like the whole black, but the way they kind of portrayed Venom was like I guess, but like one and two, like Defoe, and then following up with that guy doing Doc Ock. What's the guy's name? Antonio.
Auto Octavius.
Molina,
Antonio. What? Yeah. I mean those guys.
Alfred
Like
Molina.
Alfred. Is his name Alfred Molina?
Yeah.
Whatever his name. But regardless, I think those are two home run villains. Like I honestly, for me, I think in terms of movie, I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the best of the trilogy. That's my opinion. And I think it's just because like villain and story, but I think Green Goblin and Doc Ock those are like just two of the. I mean, it's hard to recast after that because they just did it so well.
And that's why, and they were just as good too when they brought him back. Like Cam was saying, like in the reboot, like Electro was obviously much better there, but like dude, the Goblin, I mean, Defoe was just as good
awesome, dude.
in No Way Home as
He
he was. In
carries that movie.
Yeah, same. I agree. All right, Sam Raimi Spider-Man at AJ's number 3 spot. Bo, you are up.
I think I'm gonna take. This is kind of a hybrid, so I don't know if I'm gonna get dinged here because it's a sci-fi and an action film, but I'm gonna take the Matrix franchise.
No, Matrix works as sci-fi.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
but if you look it up online, it'll say action sci-fi because it is both. But I will use it as my sci-fi choice.
No, I think it can be sci-fi. It's definitely sci-fi.
The Matrix is quite possibly the best trilogy for hand-to-hand combat that you can find. It's like watching, um, what's this guy's name? A Bruce Lee karate movie. There's so much action. I think Keanu murders the role. Not necessarily my ideal like storyline and or I'm not like a save the world, a futuristic kind of guy. I think that some of it's repetitive, but this is the OG. Lawrence Fishburne, fantastic, just a great movie. I don't think a lot of people now growing up know to watch The Matrix, and I think it would serve them right to watch The Matrix.
Yeah, and it influenced a lot in action at the time too. Like, I mean, obviously with all the slow mo stuff,
Yeah,
they're ahead of their time. So
Yeah, like Wanted. I feel like
yeah,
Wanted was
Wanted,
strong.
Wanted's a great example. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. Wanted's a good one. All right, so I'm gonna go third pick here. I'm gonna go into the fantasy adventure realm. Um, this is going to be kind of like, I mean, it is. I mean, it's under the fantasy category when you look it up. Fantasy adventure action. I'm going with the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I think Pirates of the Caribbean movies are severely underrated in the sense of everyone just always thinks of the first one, and the first one's incredible. But I always had a huge soft spot for the Davy Jones one. The second one I thought was really good. The first
Yeah.
three to me were really good. And then even the last, I mean, all of them with Jack Sparrow in it. I like and you know I like the aspect of they mix in, obviously it's about pirates, but it's kind of like that mystical element of it. They're always usually going around like either sacred, whether it's found in the youth or the fact that in the first one, I mean, they're all essentially like dead ghosts and stuff. So it fits in the fantasy adventure realm. So I'm going Pirates of the Caribbean. I probably spelled Caribbean wrong, but I do not
you did
care.
not.
All right, let's go. All right, Pooch.
So Pirates of the Caribbean was gonna be my fantasy adventure pick, but I have backups. It's okay. But I'm actually gonna go into action with. I'll die on the hill that this is the most underrated trilogy of all time, and I think that it needs more respect. Give me the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I think all
Wow.
three of those movies were like
That
fucking badass. Like every single one of those movies were good in their own regard. Like I feel like none of those movies were like bad. Like the first three of like Caesar's reign and the way his storyline and the way that the world kind of changes each movie went along. I think all three of those and the way they kind of capped off that series and now introduced like the whole new element of it and continuation. I think that movie is fucking badass. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like I think that trilogy is one of the best trilogies of all time.
I agree in the sense I do love that trilogy. I'm gonna give it to you in the action because I think there is a lot of action in it. I think I had it under my sci-fi
Okay.
section. I was almost saving it for you, but I had a feeling that since you picked Back to the Future, I'm like, oh, maybe I just sniped Planet of the Apes. I love that trilogy. I think it's incredible what they were able to do with motion capture with Andy Serkis. Incredible. So I'm a huge fan of those. I don't know if you guys are fans of them.
I
Oh,
like
Andy.
Planet of the Apes. Again, it's really, really original and it's really good. I didn't love the last one with James Franco as the lead.
Oh, like the last trilogy or just the James Franco movie?
I didn't love the James Franco one.
But please tell me you've seen Dawn. You've seen the
I
next
did, I
two.
did. I saw the next two.
Okay, okay,
They're
okay.
But
great.
I feel like that first one, James Franco wasn't even like, yeah, he was like the A-lister, but like the movie started getting carried because he was the A-lister that led it, and then by the end it was like, okay, Caesar's like really the main character here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then it just
good
took off
point.
from there. And then for my fantasy adventure pick, this is gonna be the first animated series, I
Ooh.
believe. And I think that these movies are all kick ass. They're gonna come out with a live action now. Give me the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy.
Damn it, that was on my list.
Give me the
It's a
How to Train
great
Your
flick.
Strong
Dragon
pick,
trilogy. I
strong
think
pick.
those movies are really good, dude. I think they're a lot of fun. I think it's like I said, storyline, just the whole world they kind of take you into, and character development, everything, the score. I mean, that intro song to How to Train Your Dragon is just kick ass. And I mean, if it's turning into a live action, it's good enough that people still want to go and they're still super excited about it.
Aren't they
So
making a live action one now?
yeah, they are.
Yeah,
That's what I was
number
saying.
one.
Crazy.
Like to go from animated to live action means that there's a huge
Huge.
audience for it. They just open up now. They gave its own like theme park land. I think at the new Universal they have like a How to Train Your Dragon land. So like there's obviously a huge following behind the trilogy. And I just think outside of it being an animated movie, I think it's just a really good movie in general. Just the way they kind of like just develop everyone and like the whole like character development, even the villains too, like the people they bring in. I think there's a lot of
And there's
cool
low key a
elements.
lot of A-list actors in that on those voices. Jay
Yeah,
Baruchel,
exactly.
Jonah
Even
Hill.
voicing it.
There's a bunch of people.
I mean, Gerard Butler as the dad. I mean,
Yeah, he's great.
and Gerard Butler's not gonna play the live action version of the dad, so like they're keeping him around. I definitely think that's a really fun fantasy adventure kind of trilogy for sure.
All right. I'm gonna go with miscellaneous here, and this is it's definitely an action movie, but I'm picking it in my miscellaneous because it's almost non-conventional in the sense of the world that it could almost fit in fantasy of how extensive it is in terms of the assassin world that it is. I am taking John Wick. I think John Wick is one of my favorite movie franchises in
Good
general.
pick. Good pick.
It's got some of the best action of really the last, I don't know, many years.
Really good pick.
And they basically created their own type of fighting style, which was gun fu, which is just basically kung fu with guns, where Keanu Reeves is going to blow your head off. So I love this franchise. It's all four of them for me are incredible. They have the ballerina that's coming out this summer. Excited for it, but I'm going with John Wick and Miscellaneous.
All right, I think this draft played out well for me because I'm gonna end up. I think I'm gonna be able to get both of the guys that I want. So, for my action, I'm definitely gonna go with the Daniel Craig's James Bond series. It is. I mean, all of the Bonds are amazing. Pierce Brosnan was good. Sean Connery was even better. But just to narrow it down, I'll just take the Daniel Craig James Bond series. He has everything you want a James Bond: physical freak, crazy good looking, like has a serious and like a serious demeanor where you would believe that he's like a businessman assassin type. There's great hot chicks in the movie. There's awesome action, and it has quite possibly the dumbest poker scene of all time. It just physically couldn't happen, and I still love the movie. So
Listen, the one thing I'll say, because I do love those movies, and I love Daniel Craig's my favorite Bond as well. Ethan Hunt beats his ass, but all right, well that's all I'll say.
there's one other. I'm trying to remember. You know who's awesome? Also, I wanted to shout her out. Judi Dench. She is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Azam. She's great
yeah.
and great villains. But I'll give up the mic.
Bo, between Casino Royale or Skyfall, which you like better?
Skyfall for sure.
Me too. I'm a Skyfall guy.
Skyfall is crazy.
Yeah.
And
Long answer.
I'll give you another question. Javier Bardem or the guy from Inglourious Bastards? I'm blanking on his names. Christoph Waltz.
Well, I like Javier Bardem's villain better. I do love Christoph Waltz. Like he's one of the best actors, but and if Django had a sequel, I would have picked that as probably number one franchise. But I'm a Javier Bardem in the Bond franchise.
Me too, but it's a close race.
It is, yeah. Well, AJ, which Bond do you prefer? 'Cause you said you didn't like that answer.
Well, I think Casino Royale's the GOAT. Young Daniel Craig, super sick setting in terms of where they are. But I'm probably frozen right now, but I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
For me, Casino Royale just has the most rewatch value of all of them.
For sure. I'll agree
yeah.
with that.
It's
Just an easier watch.
Exactly. It's the easiest watch, great action, pretty linear story, and
But
yeah.
Skyfall is just like the score's incredible. It's dark and ominous. You lose an incredible character. Like James Bond goes through hell. You're on the edge of your seat, like, oh my god, James Bond is finally gonna die.
Yeah. No, and people forget that because there's so many good set pieces in that movie. The opening chase in Casino Royale is one of the best. Like it was like
Yes.
was really big into it, but like that was so well done. I always remember that always stands out for me in Casino Royale. All right, AJ, you're gonna give us your last two picks here.
Yes. Okay. So a couple of my picks were taken for action, but I'm gonna get it out of the way now. And there's gonna be a point of contention here, especially with Mr. Hondo himself. I'm gonna pick Fast and Furious, the Fast and the Furious saga.
I had it on my list.
But let me caveat it. I'm gonna benefit from the entire movie series, but I'd like to make a note that the first three hold a special place in my heart. I think the Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, and Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
They
those
have
three
such
were
nostalgia, and I miss, how the saga was when it was more about drag racing and
Then it was
drifting.
Heist. I
yeah.
completely
I,
agree.
I
I
I,
think you
I
have
think
to
it was,
cut off the Fast and the Furious series at Fast 7 because after Paul Walker dies, it is an abomination.
yeah.
An
I
absolute
mean,
abomination. It turned into the most unrealistic, ridiculous
yeah.
movie, and it's just like Guppy
I mean,
Central. There's no actual thought that you have to watch. You just watch
for
things
me, I
blow
would
up
have
and
stopped
die.
after Fast Five after they heisted Brazil. Just ended right there. They made the money. That's it. They get to live the rest of their lives happily ever after.
I have a question for you, AJ. Of the three,
hit me.
what's your favorite? Rank 1, 2, and 3. I
Oh,
go
that's
Too
so
Fast, Too
tough.
Furious, Tokyo Drift, and then the first one.
That is so freaking tough. I like elements of all of them. I would have to say that Tokyo Drift is my favorite. I just love the ambiance of Japan. I love
And
the
the soundtrack is
the
awesome in that movie.
teriyaki boys will never be defeated. I love the drifting, the cars, and even the love interest. There's a cool dynamic there. Obviously, I love that Too Fast, Too Furious is
I'm
in.
biased because it was just in Miami and it was Eva Mendes who's scorching hot.
Yeah,
But
you
it's
know.
also I'm a huge Paul Walker guy, and it's his
Yes.
own movie. Ludacris is great, and it's
Yeah.
just I don't know. I loved that one, but all of
Yeah.
them are really good.
I'd probably rank it Tokyo Drift one, the first one two, and then Too Fast Too Furious in third place. That'd be my ranking system. Yeah, just the vibes of Tokyo Drift are sick. All right, so I'll pivot now to my last pick.
Right before you go, I have the same ranking as you in 1, 2, 3, but Hobbs and Shaw is the best Fast and Furious movie. I'll just do that.
Oh, I forgot to mention that
Oh my
of
god.
the new crud that comes after Tokyo Drift, Hobbs and Shaw is gas. Hobbs and Shaw is
Let's
gas.
go.
I was in Charles ridiculous.
I do like Hobbs and
That's
Shaw.
ridiculous.
I
You
went
should you you were
chat. I
good
went
at the
against
thing
my
win the
will
first three.
to the Hobbs and Shaw premiere with my whole family, David and Brian Maliente, and I hated every second of it
No, you
until the
didn't. You
end.
like Hobbs and Shaw.
Until the end, I was like, all right, you know what? I'll give in, even though they have no chemistry and they're
You
Oh
don't
my
like the
God, Jason
Jason
Statham and The
Statham and
Rock had
Dwayne Johnson
well.
scene.
unmatched.
Jason Statham puts the Rock on his back and carries him
No,
the whole movie.
it's The Rock's movie through and through.
Dude,
We
you're
should we
crazy.
should do a spitfire round at the end of honorable mentions because I kind of want to say one of my honorable mentions, but I also don't want to give ideas to the competition. But
Yeah.
okay, so I'm kind of at a crossroads for what I was going to choose for miscellaneous, but I figured I had to go with horror because I love horror movies. I'm a fanatic. I grew up on them. I used to spend Saturday nights with a large pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut, a 2 liter of Pepsi, and watching a horror movie of the weekend. So I'm gonna go here with Scream by
Great,
ori-
great pick.
originally started 1996 by Wes Craven, completely revolutionized the horror movie genre by it was meta. It was supposed to be a parody of everything that was wrong with the cheesy, campy '80s horror movies, but it still had that element of horror and it was scary. Great practical effects, and as you can see, it's still lasting to this day. I mean, there's a lot to be said for a horror movie franchise that goes for over a decade. So yeah, I'm happy with my lineup.
All right, so I have the easiest pick at this point because I left superhero for last, so I let you guys pick. I'm gonna go with the greatest character, and David and I have argued about this forever. The man who's gonna save Marvel, the greatest action, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna go with the Iron Man franchise and Tony Stark. Not only is it great action, great dialogue, and a very likable lead character, it has some of the coolest tech and makes you believe that a suit like the Iron Man is actually real and that you could just get in one and fly around the world. The third one has probably the worst villain in MCU history.
The
He is
Mandarin.
the Mandarin is a complete garbage, but like always, Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. just carries it the whole thing.
My thing with Iron Man is that the first one is one of my favorite movies in the MCU. I'm not a huge fan of the second one, but I
I like
actually
Mickey
like
Rourke. We've had this discussion.
Ooh.
I like
Boo,
the
second one.
I like the
the
third one
second
more than the second one, but I agree with you in terms of the villain. The Mandarin whole situation wasn't great, but I actually have a soft spot for Iron Man 3. I like that movie. So I
I
mean,
do
listen,
like
I
it when
want
they
to
go a
be part
million
of the team.
suits and it's the mock
Yeah,
suits and Tony's dealing with anxiety, which is pretty cool because they acknowledge that superheroes could deal with that. But just half the movie you're scared of a character and then it turns out that he's a total clown actor. And
that
it's
twist
like
was
it was just such a hard
In, in,
pill to swallow.
in defense of Iron Man 2, yes, its fatal flaw is that you completely get a 180 on the character development of Tony Stark, but the rewatch value is high, and a lot of those fight scenes with
The
Tony
whips
Stark, Iron Man,
when
and
he's
War
at
Machine,
the
Shit's
when
F1.
they're
fire,
stuck
bro.
in that like
That
bubble and
shit
they're
was
fighting the
fire.
automated Iron Man suits. I mean,
yeah.
freaking sick.
And then
Can't
you get
beat it.
introduced to War Machine too. That was
War
also
Machine,
super
that's
cool.
right. It's the introduction of the
That's
War
the
Machine.
introduction to War Machine.
And cameo by Elon Musk, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah, and the F1 scene. Yeah, he does.
He is there.
He
It's
is in
iconic.
there.
It's
Crazy.
iconic.
That's a
All
crazy
right.
too.
All right, I'm going. My last pick. I've saved sci-fi for last. Let you guys pick your sci-fi movies. I got my second one on my list, all the way here in 5. I'm going with the Jurassic Park franchise. Jurassic Park has it's definitely got its ups and downs, but the first one is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's a movie I grew up. I grew up I was a dinosaur freak as a kid. I loved the first Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park 3 also super underrated, and I liked
Fantastic.
the first Jurassic World movie. And the last one was okay. The second Jurassic World movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But outside of that one, all the rest of them are super enjoyable. I'm super pumped for the one this summer. And I just love the Jurassic Park universe, so I'm going with Jurassic Park and my sci-fi.
Great call.
Yeah,
Talk
the
about
trailer
rewatch.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Iconic CGI.
Dude,
First
that
real
first
movie to
T-Rex
believe you. You're like, wow, what is on the screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you liked the modern ones, the modern renditions that have come out recently?
Absolutely not. The Chris
No,
Pratt one
none
that
of
I saw,
them.
I didn't even watch the last one. And the first
I
Chris Pratt one that I saw was brutal.
I disagree.
I have high hopes about the one coming out now because that's like pretty like I heard that one's gonna be like a rated R Jurassic Park. That one can be pretty interesting.
I'm excited for the new one. I'll tell this about Jurassic World. I like the first Jurassic World, like the first one with Chris Pratt. The second one, like I said, is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like the second Jurassic World with that same crew is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And then the third one, they bring back all the original characters from Jurassic Park, so it has some like nostalgia to it, but it's still not great. The Jurassic Park franchise of the first 3 are the first one's obviously an all-time classic. 3 really holds a special place in my heart, and I even like 2. So I like them all. I like all the original Jurassic Parks.
I didn't also know that the guy who plays the old man in the first one is Richard Attenborough, who's the brother of David Attenborough, who is the voice of Planet Earth, the iconic voice. Yeah, I just found that out right now. I was looking up. And they look exactly alike. It makes total sense. He's 99 years old.
Jesus.
Long live David Attenborough.
Yeah. All right, Pooch. Wrap up the draft here. You got the last pick of the drafts,
I've been
Mr.
thinking
Irrelevant.
about
Who are you going with?
I've been thinking about this one a lot, just like now watching all this because all I had left was Miscellaneous, and I landed on this trilogy, well, franchise really, that I feel like a lot of us grew up on it. For me, it might have been one of the first movies I ever saw in my life. I think it's something I'm going to show my kids down the line. Give me the Toy Story franchise.
Ah, that's a good Pooch. I had Toy Story.
That's
written down.
this.
Give me the Toy Story franchise to wrap it up.
Strong.
I mean, talk about rewatchability. I mean, as adults, we still sing those songs. I mean, all those Toy Story 2 when they're freaking fighting the guy, the chicken, they're in the supermarket. Like I love every single one of those movies. I feel like, 30 years down the line, our kids are gonna be like, "What's Toy Story?" I'm like, "Oh, kid, let's watch on Disney Plus right now. Let me take you on an adventure." So I feel that's a strong way to end the Miscellaneous. And even though I have 2 animated movies in my list, I feel pretty strong about them that they hold their value as just good trilogies, not just animated kind of kids movies.
I'm with you. I had Toy Story on my list, and I even like the fourth one. To be honest with you, like the fourth one is still good. Like the
The
original
third one
three-
is Lotto the Bear
Might be my favorite one.
is so tough for a children's movie. I left there, I was like, fuck,
I was freaking out.
this is such a deep movie on its
Was
face.
Toy Story 3 a kids movie, or was
Yeah.
it a movie made for the audience that grew up watching Toy Story?
Yeah, that's a good
Probably
way.
actually right.
Yeah.
So I think
I
AJ's
think
got a
Toy
good
Story
idea.
3
Let's
was
go
meant for
one
the
last
OGs.
rapid fire miscellaneous.
All right, we'll go. Everyone can give one last one that didn't make their list.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna steal anybody's pick, but it's a little recency bias, and I'm not a fan of the. Not that I'm not a fan. I just have never read the books or watched the old trilogy, but the Dune franchise, first and second one have been fantastic, been incredible. I'm so excited for the third one. Pretty
I
much
was gonna-
anything Dennis Villeneuve touches is gold. He's probably the best director in Hollywood right now, him or Christopher Nolan. But I gotta say, the second one had me on the edge of my seat, saying "Lisan Agib, Lisan Agib."
I'm with you. I literally got the Dune bucket right here. So this is my
And talk
my-
about CGI and special effects. The worm scene is crazy. If Dune had came out 6 months after it did, it would have won Best Picture.
100%.
It's crazy that it did not win Best Picture.
Insane.
But yeah, that's gonna be my pick. I don't know if I took yours, AJ, because it was your idea.
That's all right. That's all right. You took mine, but it's a great pick nonetheless. So I'll pick up from here. I was between a couple. I want to shout out Jason Statham with The Transporter. I think The
Wow.
Transporters are great. That's not going to be my pick, but I want to shout out The Transporter. I want to shout out Rush Hour. And
That's a great pick, AJ.
but
Great.
still,
You have to get a pick. He's just giving shout outs right now.
Just take it
I know,
over
but
quick.
those aren't serious contention.
shout out.
Those are-
I'm
those
just
are
shouting
good
out.
franchises.
Pooch, I'm gonna take some inspiration from you with an animated series that I think is strong. You get a little comedy, you get a little fantasy, you get a little action. Shrek.
Tracks.
Oh, good pick.
Great pick. Fantastic.
Shrek and Cars are probably of that era, that 2008, 2005 to 2008 animated movie. Those are my favorites.
No. All right, Pooch. So some honorable mentions.
All right.
Pick
So honorable
your
mention.
earlier one.
I'll give another, since we're doing a couple shout outs, I'll give a couple shout outs. This isn't my pick, but I'm gonna
Let's
give
go
a
with the
shout
shout outs, baby.
I want to give a shout out to the Captain America solo films, the First Avenger, Winter Soldier. I know that was your pick.
No,
And
you're good,
Civil
you're
War.
good.
I think Winter Soldier might be the best Marvel movie.
It is.
That I will
universe.
agree. Standalone,
I
in terms of one singular character lead,
Yeah,
it is the
I
best. And
think
David
that is-
convinced me of that.
I think that is the best Marvel movie. Above all the other ones. Obviously, seeing all the heroes together, but I think as a movie alone, that's the best one. But I'm gonna give my pick to an OG series. Just give me Rocky. Give me the Rocky franchise.
Oh, that's a good one. And the Creed.
Good one.
And I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if you can put Rocky and Creed since they're
Yeah,
kind of in the same
it
franchise.
counts. Rocky's in the first Creed, so it counts.
I definitely think that just the Rocky franchise, all those different fighters, I think the best one is when he had to fight the Russian. That movie alone, like
Yeah.
that whole series, and then everyone else before, I think it was just some great character, obviously great development, just great movies overall. And then the story behind it, when you hear how it kind of came into fruition, I like it even more.
All right, I love it. Well, Pooch, I was gonna go. The Captain America trilogy for me is incredible, but you already mentioned it. I got a couple as well. The Indiana Jones franchise is one of my favorites. This last one really sucked, but honestly, the original three Indiana Jones are some of the best adventure movies of all time. And I have a soft spot for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, even though it's not great. I really weirdly like that movie. So Indiana Jones. I had Bourne for action also. The Bourne franchise is as good as it gets too. But I'm sticking with superheroes. As you took Captain America, I'm gonna go with the Guardians trilogy.
Wow, he called it.
Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Guardians 1 and 3 specifically.
Hey, David, look at the
That's
screen.
crazy. Look at
Look at
this
the screen.
Oh wait, I can't see. Hold on, let me go back to it.
Oh, look what you did.
Who called? That's a good call. That's a good call. I had Guardians on my list.
David, do I know you or what? I knew exactly what you were gonna pick.
That's good. I love it. All right. So what we're gonna do is one. I'm gonna post whenever this episode, if you're watching it, obviously, you know whose picks are what. When I post this on social, I'm not going to put anybody's names on it, and I'm going to have people vote on the list. So non-biased there. People will let us know. If you're watching this, thank you so much for watching the first ever movie draft. We thought it was going to be 20, 30 minutes. We're approaching an hour. This is the stuff I love. Appreciate you.
Clap it up.
No, but yeah, if you made it this far, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, anything helps. And thank you to you boys. This is the first of many movie drafts. So excited to have it. And yeah, boom, that's it. Mwah.
3 big booms, baby, 3 big booms.
Boom! Boom! Boom!